It's Nate McMurray. It is Monday morning, the 18th, 2026. I am live on TikTok. All right, I'm going to jump into some news in a second, but first I want to talk about a question I get all the time. Am I a radical? Am I a radical? Well, what does it mean to be radical? Do I believe in the complete control of the economy by the government? No, I am not a communist. Do I believe in violent takeover event? No, I don't. I'm a pacifist unless it's for last resort, self-defense. Do I believe? Let's just go through everything. So I'm going to do what most politicians don't do. I am not going to avoid the hard issues. I'm going to talk about the hard issues. Let's go to the hardest issues we have, right? All right, well, let's start with healthcare. Because I get called a communist all the time because I want everyone to have healthcare. And I don't think you should be bankrupt for getting healthcare. Yes, there should be a basic healthcare as a human right for every person. Well, what does that mean? Well, we can define it, but it definitely doesn't mean it should cost $300 to go to urgent care when you have a cold. Every country in the world has basic health care for their citizens. Now, in places like England, you can get private health care. In addition, if you want some sort of Cadillac care, but no person is denied care. Remember John Lennon? He used to wear those weird grandma glasses. Why did John do that? Those were National Health Service glasses that he wore. He wore those glasses just as a symbol saying, listen, I support this. Everyone should have rights. And the guy was essentially a billionaire when he was alive. So, yeah, do I believe that we should have whatever you want to call it, Medicare for all, single payer? I don't care what you call it. It works. And if I'm in office and the New York State level, I will fight for healthcare. We can start in New York State. That's what they did in Canada. They started in Saskatchewan and it spread throughout the country. And just so all these people who call me a communist know, all these capitalist countries like the UK, like Canada, like Germany, like Japan, like South Korea, where everybody has healthcare as a human right, like Israel, like Saudi Arabia, wars we fight on, countries we fight wars on behalf of. In all these countries, if you tried to take people's basic healthcare away, there would be riots. I have no idea why Americans sit by and say, this is great, that we should not have healthcare. It is insane. Right, I say it every day. Right across the way, they're building a $3 billion new hospital in Ontario. The hospital in Niagara Falls is dying. It needs massive investments. If it closes, and that's a possibility, there will no longer be a place to have a baby in a hospital in Niagara County. So do I believe healthcare should be a human right? I do. Am I a communist? I am not. Okay. Moving on here. Do I believe that what's a thorny issue? Assault weapons. Do I believe we should have an assault weapon ban? Yeah. Well, and if you need it for some reason, maybe we can have a carve out so you get a special permit. I don't know. There's ways you could do this. We can be smart. I always hear the argument, we can't define an assault weapon. Define an assault weapon, Nate. Guys, I don't know if you know this. The law defines everything. Sports car, transportation truck, whatever. Like there's millions of definitions in the law. So we could find an assault weapon definition that works. A threaded barrel. I don't know. Let's debate it. Let's debate it. But does your average citizen need a gun that can shoot at high capacity quickly? That has a pistol grip and everything else? I don't think so. And if you need it for some reason, let's create a permitting process. That should not be a mass-produced device. And if you say it should be, and there should be no limits, well, we already have limits. You agree to some limits, don't you? You can't buy a automatic weapon. I mean, it's very heavily restricted in this country. So let's figure it out. Because I think that if you look at these mass shootings, like the one done with those poor children were shot by that psycho kid in Connecticut. it's because you have these AR-15 type weapons. Now, again, if you have a legitimate reason you need AR-15, let's permit it. Let's figure it out. If you have to hunt hogs, if that's, I don't know, let's figure it out. But we can't accept the status quo, can we? That we're the only country that routinely tolerates the mass shooting of children? Now, I have spoken at hundreds of events regarding gun violence over the years. I've gone to gun clubs. And to be honest with you, when I have these conversations live in real time, most of the people in the audience agree with me. And they don't want to at first because I'm labeled as some sort of radical who wants to destroy the Second Amendment. I don't. And I say this all the time. I grew up with guns. I'm an Eagle Scout. I have guns. I have a gun in this building with me right now. I don't believe we should not have guns. I mean, I'm famous for telling a guy once, a psycho stalker, that if he comes to my house, I'm armed. Now, did I need to say that? No, but it was recorded and it's live. So I obviously believe in the Second Amendment. I just think we can be smarter. I think we can't tolerate a country where so many people get shot and killed all the time. It's nuts. And especially these mass shootings with children. What kind of heartless nation are we? So that's the second issue. Do I believe in banning the Second Amendment? No. Do I believe in reasonable common sense gun control? Yes. Okay. So are you on the same page? We should have some sort of universal health care. It's crazy that people get bankrupted for health care. We can do it starting on the state level. We have to start somewhere. I believe in common sense gun laws. Are you on the same page? Do I sound radical to you? All right. Billionaires. Do I believe billionaires should pay more taxes? Yes, I do. Now, why do I believe that? Because I know that when we had a higher progressive tax rate, when we taxed capital at a higher rate, similar to what we tax labor at, we had a growing middle class. Since we've decided that the only thing that works is trickle down, we have a dying middle class, and it continues to get worse and worse. I do not believe that billionaires who benefit from our infrastructure, our roads, our highways, our airports to move and transport goods, our military, et cetera, should get a free pass. I believe the free riders in our economy are truly the billionaires. And they will say, well, they pay more overall taxes, the number. Yeah, but you're paying a very small percentage of your overall wealth, almost none in some circumstances, compared to the huge tax burden on working people. And you know what that is. If you work, if you actually draw a paycheck, we punish labor in this country and we benefit those who hold capital. So do I believe we need some sort of tax change to help regular people? Yes. Do I believe in communism? No, I don't. And like when I say that, I know a lot of young people are like, I'm a communist. Well, I'm not. I'm not. Actually, unlike all the Republicans I run against and the person I'm running against now, I have been in the private sector almost my whole life. Sometimes it's been good, sometimes it's been not so good, but I've built businesses, I've traveled, I've done things. I have been in the public sector for about 2 seconds, and to be frank, because I talk like I'm talking to you now, I'm not a great politician. I think that's a compliment. I think I'm a good leader, and I think when I have opportunities to lead, I'm a good leader. I was a good leader on Grand Island, where I was the small time I was in government. We got things done. That's why I say I'm a good leader. We had a AAA credit rating for the town. We built the West River Trail. We did the Scenic Woods Trail. We did the sidewalk project downtown. We built the elevator. We did we renovated the Holiday Inn Express that was closed for 40 years. It was the old Hooker Chemical headquarters. We did all this stuff in a very short period of time because I wasn't political. I was about accomplishment and getting things done. And you can probably see that when how I talk to you every day. I don't sugarcoat things. I don't try to put on some mask and pretend I'm somebody else. And I don't know if that always, people say they want that, but I don't know if they always want that. Because sometimes they want someone to pander to them and smile. And I can do that too. I was in sales for a long time, but I think politics is so important to me, like what we're fighting for and the country and the values, that I can't fake who I am. And for better or worse, I can't fake who I am. I believe the things I'm talking about. So next issue, abortion. Let's talk about abortion. What about abortion? I believe that women should have a right to control their own reproductive care. I think that the only countries that ban abortion are savage and usually theocratic. I don't want to live in a savage theocratic country. We talk about IVF, and Trump says he's what did he call himself? The king of IVF or something like that. When you fertilize an egg through IVF, is that a life? Well, okay, we destroy thousands of eggs through in vitro fertilization. How come one egg being destroyed that was created through sex as opposed to some sort of petri dish? Why is it evil in one circumstance and beneficial in the other? You're choosing to destroy what some would say is a life, right? I don't agree that it's a life. It's the potential for a life. It is part of a healthy country that has a healthy healthcare system. And I can't believe most politicians are afraid to say that out loud. I am for protecting women's rights. And we live in a country right now where little kids, yes, this is true, this isn't fantasy, are raped or attacked. And guess what? Some of these kids are forced to have these pregnancies or fulfill it and deliver babies from the people that have victimized them. How is that a normal country? So, yes, do I support women's reproductive health? Yes. Yes. So far, are you with me? Am I radical? Do you think I'm a radical because I believe these things? So, taxing billionaires. Okay, next one. This is an easy one. Do I believe we should be burning up money, literally lighting it on fire for foreign wars? We're spending $2 billion a day right now. Listen, you guys know I lived in China. I lived in South Korea. Do you know what they're building in China right now? I can't even tell you how unbelievable the infrastructure in China is becoming. It's like they're doing what we did 100 years ago in America when we built the Golden Gate Bridge and all this stuff. They just built the tallest bridge in the world. They just built a gigantic train station. And it's because they're not burning money up in the Middle East. We're literally throwing money away. Whether you think the war is justified or not, I don't. The argument that Trump uses is, oh, would you rather have a nuclear weapon? I'm like, well, your own intelligence agency said they weren't even close to having a nuclear weapon. They weren't even close. So it's not your premise is completely flawed. There's a lot of places that could potentially down the line have a nuclear weapon. Should we invade all of them? It doesn't work. The way you stop people from choosing that path is positive trade and diplomacy. It's like going to court. You don't go to court unless you have no other choice. If you choose to take a lawsuit or sue somebody, it's because you have no other choice, because it's such a messy process. Going to war is that times 1,000. Trump just jumped into a war for fun. That's what he said yesterday. It was for public relations purposes. His words. Do I think that's a good use of U.S. money? No, I think it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I got some viewers here. What other hot button issue would you like my take on? Because unlike my opponents, I will talk about anything. So I talked about the right for basic health care. I talked about my position on gun violence. I've talked about my position on reproductive rights. I talked about my position on foreign wars. Oh, police. Let's talk about police for a second. What do I think about police? I think we need good police. All right. Do I think that we should, quote, abolish the police? We should abolish bad police. We should abolish police that take away human rights and civil liberties. Do I think it's good to have a country where 25% of the world's prison population is here? No, I don't think that's good for America. It shows that we have a massive social problems, but also a lot of these prisons are for-profit prisons, and there's incentives to keep people in prison for as long as possible because it makes money. And that's a hard thing to talk about, but we're the land of the free, home of the brave. We got to figure out some sort of way to give people hope in this country so there isn't so much crime. And I think the answer is always more police. And especially if you're like a libertarian and you see some of these police videos where people's basic human rights and basic civil liberties are denied, how can you be for that? Now, listen, I just had to call the police the other day for an issue. Excellent. I mean, there is excellent police out there. And I'm not saying this to pander, but there's some bad police too. And we need a system that holds bad police accountable. And I think the militarization of police and the overlapping layers of police in all these small towns, I think it's madness. And as someone who was briefly in local office, I can tell you whatever the police want, they get. And that is not good for the economy. It is not good for it's not good for It's really not even good for public safety, because look at the crime numbers. They're not going down. We keep layering levels of police on top of police, and it doesn't seem to be working. So I believe we need good police and better police and smart policing, and policing that people feel. When I was a kid, I was, taught to respect and love the police, that they were our friends. I think that a lot of people are afraid of the police in this country, and that's not the way to have a safe and healthy society. I'm open about what I feel, and there it is. I think that's a pretty common sense, reasonable approach. I believe that when you have government authority, whether it's the police or whatever, the federal government, unchecked, it can lead to dangerous results. All right? What else? Any other things you want me to talk about? So I talked about policing. I talked about guns. Again, I'll share my beliefs openly. I'm not going to hide my beliefs. What else do you want to talk about? I think we covered it for now. But I'm going to keep doing this so you can have a full view of what I believe, and you can determine whether I'm some radical. I'm not hiding anything. This is me. Full display of who I am and what I believe, okay? I'm not hiding it whatsoever. Nate McMurray. Check me out at votenatemcmurray.com. Here we go.
The people get it. Jumped all over this statement that you made the other day.
This is Trump talking about his statement.
When you were leaving.
What extent are American financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. I don't think about American financial situation.
That's right. That's a perfect statement.
So the guy doesn't believe that he thinks about American financial situation. What do you think of that? He says, I go to war. I don't think about the consequences. Guys, this is a disaster. We have no way to get back control of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is saying, you're going to have to pay us for the war you did against us. That wasn't the case before the war. We are worse off now. They have more power and control than before the war. And we have two choices. Let them have it and give them money, or go to a larger war. That's what Trump gave you. And he says he doesn't care about the financial repercussions. It's going to get worse, guys. We live in a global energy market. We have done nothing for renewables in this country. We have completely bowed down to the fossil fuel industry. Now what are we going to do? Do you feel America's headed in the right direction? For those online right now, we have some people talking. I can see you're going back and forth. Most of you say, no, we do not feel like we're going in a better direction. I sure don't. I think this is insane. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is Tucker Carlson. Guys, are you watching? You want to see Tucker Carlson?
I asked what jobs.
Now, Tucker Carlson is a scam artist, okay? Remember, this is the guy who said to us that a demon jumped in his bed. Remember that? When he said a demon jumped in his bed? I mean, talk about unreliable statements. This is Tucker Carlson, but listen to Tucker Carlson sounding very, very logical here when he's debating this idiot from Shark Tank. Watch this.
To create couldn't get an answer. Now I'm going to ask you a more specific question.
Well,
what surveillance?
You can't get an answer from me because nobody knows what jobs it's going to create yet.
But I would say that.
Well, of course, but I've always seen every technology that has been loathed as it's come in always creates new jobs, and I assume the same for this tool. It's just a tool. So you know the surveillance is a great point. We have laws regarding surveillance, and we have laws that restrict the government, and they're built into the Constitution. And we have free speech. All of these things remain the same. They don't change with AI.
Well, they did until last week when the president led the charge to change the law and allow warrantless spying on Americans.
Yeah. Okay. Well, wait a second.
In direct violation of the U.S. Constitution. So obviously the Constitution doesn't matter to the people in charge.
No, it does. Every administration is kept in check by the Supreme Court, including this one.
Tucker Carlson is debating Kevin O'Leary, that scam artist from Canada, who's telling us how to live here. He's debating him about whether or not AI surveillance of our life is a good thing or a bad thing. Now, guys, this is not hyperbole. We are reaching dystopian levels of surveillance in our country. Just so you know, everything on your phone, your search history, it's all being surveilled by the government as we speak, under the Trump administration. It is AI. Everywhere you go, facial recognition, and it's just getting more and more prevalent. Now, he is going to say, Kevin O'Leary, that it's good to prevent crime. It's always this threat of crime. Whenever they take away our civil liberties, whether it's the police taking away your civil liberties or AI taking away your civil liberties, it's this constant threat of we have to be safe. Should we just all be monitored 24 hours a day when we're in the shower? Maybe in the shower, I might stab myself. You ever think of that maybe there should be monitored in my shower every day? Kevin, do you want to put an AI camera in my shower? There is nobody looking out for us and our privacy anymore. I remember it seems quaint now to think, well, Facebook will look at your search history to see what kind of products you're interested in. No, we're in a totally another level now. All the pictures on your phone, all the images of your face, they're being surveilled and watched by AI. It is worse than 1984 in some respects. But listen to Kevin O'Leary try to justify it.
And so that's why the founding fathers created this structure. And I think it works, and I trust it for one, and I'm willing to have my kids who are Americans grow up here, and I want to protect them.
Okay, so what kind of surveillance? I mean, it seems like AI will make it possible to know what every American is doing at all times. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I would say that's not AI that's going to do that. I would say now with the amount of high resolution video and surveillance that is built into every street corner, that's how they solve a lot of crimes. Now, if you don't like
do they solve a lot of crimes?
They do. They do.
Has the closure rate for murders in our big cities, like what percentage of murders are in New York City or Chicago or Detroit are solved?
I don't track the
pretty
murder
low
rate.
Actually. Yeah. It's lower in this country than
the point is surveillance isn't a great issue, but the enhancement of surveillance with AI tools is how you now walk through the Dubai airport, and you also walk through some airports here in the U.S. Facial recognition technology.
What does that have to do with anything? He asked you a question. Are we safer now that we're being more surveilled? And Heather, I see your comments here. I agree with you. Are we safer now that we're being more surveilled? Our whole life is being monitored by AI already. Kevin O'Leary says, well, they do it in Dubai. Dubai is on fire right now, just so you know, and everyone's fleeing Dubai. I don't exactly want to make that the benchmark for the United States. And Dubai is a country where, like, if you violate religious laws and you're a foreigner, you can be put in jail for life. I mean, this is like Kevin O'Leary. Like, this is the question. This is the age-old question. Do you give up freedom for safety? And how much freedom would you give up for safety? This guy, I despise Kevin O'Leary.
Has finally got to the resolution using AI's tools.
It's going to run through your data center. There'll be pictures of all of us in your data center.
Every data center.
But, right. So you don't. So, but how does that make it freer?
You don't have to opt into that program. By the way, I do it for convenience. I'm not hiding anything.
Well, it's on street corners, as you said. So it's anytime you're in public, your face is being surveilled by the U.S. government.
It is, but I'm not doing nefarious things. I'm not a criminal, and I'm not stealing any money from anybody. So
the definition of nefarious changes, as you know. I mean, hundreds of thousands of American citizens were.
So his argument is that we should be surveilled 24 hours a day because it's okay if you're not doing anything wrong. And Tucker makes quite eloquently the point that it depends on the circumstances or context whether something's right and wrong. That's the fact, or who's applying the law. That's how it works, sadly.
Sent to concentration camps by Franklin Roosevelt because they were Japanese.
Correct.
So in 1940, it was not a crime to be Japanese. In 1941, it was. So the definition does change, as you know.
It's true. So you could have those concerns, but I ask you again, Tucker.
I do.
Tucker, I do too. Listen, we are really entering I remember what is it called? The Patriot Act, when they started to like record our phone calls and stuff. We're in a whole nother level. They are recording us constantly through AI. And Kevin freaking O'Leary is building a data center bigger than Manhattan in Utah that's going to raise the temperature of the state of Utah. Now you're like, well, we need these data centers. We probably do. But why are we giving up complete control of these data centers to private companies? Why do private companies have complete control of this massive new technology, AI, that can monitor your entire life? Do you really trust this power unchecked forever? I don't, because I believe that we should have civil rights and civil liberties. And I believe that the rights of every person should be protected. How can they be protected when I completely outsource that to a company like Facebook or TikTok or any of these companies? It's madness. It is. We are entering some dark times. I trust private companies more than the government. You do? Have you ever heard of Love Canal? This guy says to me, the Boofish. You ever heard of Love Canal? We have Love Canal about 3 miles away from here. It was a private company. They filled it with chemicals and they sold it to the local community for $1. Local community put a school on top of it. When the kids got poisoned and had birth defects, what did they do? Hooker Chemical closed. The buildings are still closed locally. I turned one of those hotels into I turned one of those buildings into a hotel. It was far away from Love Canal. Why do you trust the private sector so much? The unchecked. I say this every week, but I'll say to you again. The free market is not a magical thing in the woods. It is a system of rules. There is nobody writing the rules to protect you. Okay? Why do you think corporations have lobbyists? Why do you think corporations have lawyers? To change the rules to protect them. Your politicians are supposed to create rules to protect you. Thank God the government has never done anything like that. Sure they have. But do you understand the scope of exploitation? But why should a private actor like Hooker Chemical, do it at my expense? Why should they be allowed to make money on the back of my community? Now, if the government does something wrong, theoretically at least, you have the right to vote people out or throw them in prison. But why do private companies have the right to exploit us or make money off us? Or in the case of AI, surveil every aspect of your life? And we're not supposed to benefit from it or have any control over it? God, you're a simp. I mean, it's really some fearful thinking by you. Like, you're willing to give up your freedoms to who? To Sam Altman? Why? You trust Sam Altman? The private sector is not some magical thing. It's Sam Altman. That's who runs OpenAI. Have you seen any interviews with Sam Altman? Do you trust? You really trust him more than your own self and the people you choose to put in office? That's freaking nuts, dude. That is nuts.
If immigration has gone up since Brexit.
I talk about this every week. Every country in the world now is freaking out over immigration. Even South Africa, they're having riots against immigrants. Japan, it's become global hysteria. And the reason why is because the economy sucks. The global economy is garbage because the United States is supposed to lead the global economy theoretically. That's why the US dollar is the reserve currency, but our government is complete trash. It's complete trash. So we're heading towards a global recession. So when you have circumstances like that, people start to look at the weakest and start to scapegoat them. And this started earlier in Brexit because the economy in England is garbage because they did Brexit. And they were told for Brexit, hey, break free from Europe and we will control immigration and we will have more freedom. And it was, again, nationalism that just our world is very small. And to try to, in this day and age when technology is so advanced, to try to pretend that we're all separate and we can put up walls, it doesn't work. Doesn't mean we shouldn't have immigration rules, but it does mean things like Brexit that cut you off from the global economy are not good. And since they did Brexit in England, the economy has crashed. But instead of looking at those facts, the British people are doubling down and saying the problem is immigrants. Watch this.
How can it be a betrayal to undo the thing that has made worse the thing that you wanted to happen? We were going to get richer. We've got poorer. So how can it possibly be a betrayal if all the reasons people gave and people were given to want this thing have turned out to be, at worst, blatant, barefaced lies, and at best, misunderstandings, miscomprehensions, and missteps? How on earth can it be a betrayal If I buy a house off you because the house you showed me had 14 bedrooms and a swimming pool, and then when you give me the keys and I turn up, it's a tin hut from B&Q with a wheelie bin round the back full of water, and I say to you, I don't want this, can I give the keys back? And you say, no, that would be a betrayal. That would be a betrayal of the estate agent, or that would be a betrayal of the property. You'd quite rightly tell me that I'd taken leave of my senses. So this desperate narrative of betrayal is back. And I think probably it was going to be back whenever the conversation...
So I had to talk to this guy on here, the Big Fish or something like that. Let me say a comment to you real quick before I move on to the next video. When are you going to wake up and realize that your ideology is not working? The trickle-down, government is bad, Ronald Reagan, don't trust the government ideology has failed the United States. During the Reagan era, which we're still living in a way, when they were told, hey, give more money to the job creators, destroy the federal government, destroy the working class, destroy the social safety net, our life expectancy in the United States is going down. It is going down. Is there any greater example that America is getting worse under that philosophy that all government is bad and we have to trust the private sector and we have to trust rich people to protect and save us, than the fact that our life expectancy in the United States is decreasing? That is shameful. When I was younger, people lived longer than they do today. That is crazy stuff. Your buying power is worse. Under Big Fish's philosophy that we should trickle down and give power to the rich, people have gotten poorer in America. People have gotten less civil rights. People are more surveilled and there's more people in jail. I mean, in every single metric, things are getting worse for working people. But you still want to say the government is always bad and we should trust the private sector to take care of us. It's lunacy. I say this when I was in law school. One of my professors said, he's from Ireland, how many Americans does it take to screw in a light bulb? And the answer is none. They just put the light bulb on the table and hope the free market screws it in. And it never gets done. Because the reality is we create the free market. We are the free market. We make the rules for the free market. Yeah, that's right. I'm with you, Chico. I'm with you. It's insane. It's insane. We have to wake up and start fighting for the rights of working people. All right, I'm going to show you the SNL skit. Let me find it real quick. SNL Will Ferrell skit where he plays Epstein. Did you see that? Here it goes.
Don't worry, Donald. It's me, your best friend, Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey, but I thought you were dead.
I am, remember? I killed myself. Wink! So, how you doing, Donnie, baby?
Not so good, Jeffy. My approval rating's in the 30s.
Oh, the 30s. Gross. Call me when it hits 17.
Dark, very dark. It's a dark situation. So, what are you up to these days, Jeff? How's Evan?
It's really, really hot. But you know me. I keep busy mahjong every Wednesday with Stalin and John Wayne Gacy. That guy has stories. What else? Oh, I just wrote for the Kevin Hart roast. Had some fun zingers in there. What about you, Donnie, baby? Any fun summer plans?
Well,
now, okay, I'm going to keep playing it, but I mean, I want to remind people, it's not just the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. The level of lunacy underneath the Trump administration. We forget that just a few weeks ago, the head of Homeland Security's resigned because she was using a private jet to fly around with her boyfriend, allegedly. And that her husband allegedly, well, we saw the pictures, but allegedly was inflating giant balloons and talking to sex workers online, making these fake breasts. It's weird. The Obama monkey cartoon he tweeted out. Every week, it's a freak show. It's a freak show. It's a complete freak show.
You know, we've got the World Cup, UFC fight on my lawn like I'm white trash on World Star. And we're also doing the Patriot Games where high school athletes come from all over the country.
Boing, yo, 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 yoing.
Give me some.
You know what? This time I'm going to leave you hanging. Wow.
Wonderful.
Wow, yeah.
Tremendous.
Man, we had some fun times together, didn't we?
Listen, you can't get away from the fact that Trump was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, allegedly, apparently, for years. Okay? It is weird. He promised he would release the files. He didn't do it. What do you think is really happening? Wait. The Republicans who are listening right now, take yourself out of the sphere where you're fighting for your dear God and leader, and you're just thinking about this objectively. You came down from outer space. Here are the facts. All this evidence shows this guy hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. His administration, Elon Musk said, hey, I want to come to the email's out there. Hey, I want to come to your party. Send me the wildest parties on the island. Oh, yeah. Howard Lutnick, I never met him before. Oh, here's a picture of him on the island. I went there once by accident. We're going to release all the files. Actually, we're not going to release all the files. Hey, we're going to investigate this totally. Actually, we're not going to talk to any of the victims. We are going to, we want to know the full details of everything, every aspect of this. There's nothing to see. It's a hoax. Don't you think this is weird? Okay. Don't you think it's weird? It's freaking weird.
Donnie, yeah. We should have taken more pictures.
No, it's really bad that we took any.
But Donnie, just remember, no matter how many wars you start or how bad you tank the economy as a distraction, people will always associate you with me. And that, my dear close friend, that is a beautiful thing. 'Cause darling, when the morning comes.
All right, you're worried about woke? Is it woke to say, hey, we shouldn't release the names of victims and we should probably release the names of very powerful rich guys who abuse the victims instead? Is that woke? What is woke? Where are you living in a barn somewhere? Like, what does woke mean to you? Listen, I'm asking you, what is your name here online? Potential vibration? Can you tell me what woke means? Define it for me. I'm ready. I'm ready, woke. I'm ready, potential vibration. Okay, pandering to who? You don't think Trump panders to you 24 hours a day? You feel that things are going well? What is woke? Pandering to what? Tell me. Pandering to what? Name it. I really want to understand what it means. You said woke is pandering, okay? How? Pandering to who? Spell it out for me. Okay, you just pandering to subhumans, he said. What's your name, dude? You got my name. What's your name? So we can call you out for the absolute dirtbag you are. What's your real name, bro? Tell me your name. By the way, I'm talking to this guy online here. I said, I'm done with woke. And he said, what's woke? And he doesn't answer. And then he says, pandering to subhumans. Oh my God. You're the subhuman, man. Don't you understand? There's one race, brother. The human race. That's it. And you're a sick person. You are a sick person that needs seriously to read some books. Read a couple books. Read some books. I love when you really dig down with these people, what they actually believe, and it's as sick as you think it is. It's really sick. You know they don't have any love life. You know they don't have any friends. You know they never had a proper relationship. They're sick. I see it every day online. They're sick. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, it's just not even worth talking to them. I mean, listen, I want to remind one thing I want to say to people out there before I go. You know, I'm running for office, and I'm not great at politics because I say what I believe. I don't pander. I say what I believe. But I want to say to you guys out there, we don't have to persuade these people like this sicko on here who said what he just said. We don't have to persuade them. What we have to do is charge up our base. The goal of politics is to win 51% of the vote, okay? In most places, like the place I live in, Niagara County, I don't live in Niagara County. I live in the district beside Niagara County. But in this region, about 25 to 30% of people vote. That's it, of eligible voters. If everybody voted, that is of like mind and decent and believes in a country where everybody has rights and a country where we're not just picked apart like meat from a vulture, like on a carcass by a vulture, by the most powerful and elite among us. If you voted, we would never lose an election. You just have to vote, because trust me, the sickos vote. They vote. The uneducated, angry, weird guys in their basement who've never had a girlfriend, they vote. They vote. Okay? So get out there and vote. All right. Talk to you soon.